Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, there's another podcast video with Recon Trooper.
Hey there, folks. Recon Trooper here, and if you're watching my version of this podcast, I hope you enjoy the Halo Reach Firefight and Dead Island 2 gameplay.
Ooh, now what character are you playing?
You'll have to see, I guess.
Oh, okay, all right. I see how it is.
I couldn't choose.
Sounds good.
So I just...
Yeah, that's true.
To be honest, I'm playing both of them. I played about, I think, half an hour, 20 minutes as Ryan and approximately 20 as Jacob, and then I just meshed it together so it feels seamless when you watch it.
Okay.
So, but who cares about the
awesome.
characters? It's the zombie combat you want to watch.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not the characters. But
Can't even
anyway,
see the
I have
characters.
some. That is true.
You
That's
only
actually
see their
maybe a topic we
hands
can touch upon.
when they're all bloody and everything. So, but
Yeah, don't remind me.
okay.
But, alright, so if you guys enjoyed this podcast, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to myself and Rika. I'm going to have a link for his channel down in the description. You guys know how it should work by now. So yeah, what are some topics that you have? Let's get going.
Okay, so my first topic was one I had on hold for a while, Spider-Man games. Now,
Ooh.
you said Lego Marvel was your introduction to Marvel. But how about any Spider-Man games before or after that? Any that you've played?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. So what was it? Yeah, so Lego Marvel 1 was my first Marvel thing. And then after that, I started getting into the movies, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and I dig this.
Yeah.
And then around 2012... the game came out, but I didn't play it in that year, obviously. I played it, I think, in 2014. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 video game. That movie franchise is, in my opinion, not too bad, but the game, now that I've played Spider-Man PS4, in my opinion, it's pretty garbo. But The Amazing Spider-Man 1 was my introduction into Spider-Man games. And for those of you who don't know, it's basically like open-world Spider-Man, just not really as polished as the PS4 version, and then you've got like Arkham Combat, stuff like that. So, for when I was playing it, it was pretty darn good, I gotta say.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you
I
haven't played a Spider-Man game since Spider-Man Friend or Foe in 2007.
Ooh.
That's
been a minute then.
I guess I just never really had the interest with, because for one thing, I think in the Amazing Spider-Man, there's costumes that you have to unlock, and some of them are a real pain trying to get. And
yes,
especially when it's,
I can confirm,
when it's I think the black suit is in it, and you have to like beat the game on hard or something, or you have to complete all the hard races or whatever. Or you have to unlock everything first, or I don't know how it works. I just know there's some that are a real pain to get, and I didn't want to be rage quitting all the time trying to get a stupid costume unlocked. So I'd rather it be similar to Dying Light, where you can find some costumes all over the following, and it's only a
that's a good point. I forgot about that.
It's a pain finding them and trying to get to them, but it's better than having to do a ridiculous thing just to get the thing.
Right.
Like I'll never play.
I agree.
I'll never play the
PS4.
I'll never play the story mode on Nightmare mode ever, just to get the Brains costume, because it's not worth it in my opinion.
Okay, I will take your word on that for sure. The PS4 game is kind of like that. There's a plethora of suits. They're not that hard to get. They look pretty friggin' cool. But, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game, it didn't have that many suits. It had them, obviously, but it wasn't as, complex as, the PS4 version. But, it was a fun game. I played it. That was...
Yeah. I don't have a PS4, so I'll probably never play it. I'm not a PlayStation person.
If you ever do, it's all right.
Yeah, but which is
Hopefully
kind of
I'll get a PS5 for my
kind of
birthday.
sucks though. Like seems Spider-Man is becoming Sony exclusive, even though it's really only the movie rights that are Sony exclusive. But
yeah, I don't like that either. I mean, I have a PS4, so I guess I'm the lucky one. But
I might have gotten.
I like Xbox.
I might have gotten the Marvel's Avengers game if they had added Spider-Man. But lo and behold, Sony has to step in and say, "You use him; he's exclusive to our platforms, no one else." And they charge the same price for less content. Like, if I was those developers, I would stare at Sony right in the face and say, he's either on all platforms or the Xbox and PC versions are lower priced, or he's
or he's on none of the platforms.
Limited, or he's on a limited time thing, or no platforms, like
I say put him on the Wii.
Like I would try.
That'll be great.
Fair.
Put him on the Wii U.
But the first game I played, I think, was I don't remember. I think it was in the 90s.
Oh, jeez.
That was
so
when
that's on what, like the PS1 or something?
I guess so.
What console?
I don't remember. That's just it. I just know it was.
It's kind of fuzzy.
It was a game where basically, like in the Lego games where Spider-Man is just like swinging like in the levels, not the open world, where he's just kind of swinging like one thing after another. Kind of like that's kind of how the game that I played was sort of like, and there was a web thing that actually ran out when you were even web swinging.
Oh wow!
And I think it must have been for the PlayStation because Xbox didn't exist yet. And I don't think I tried it on the PC, so it must have been the PlayStation. But
okay, makes sense.
And then I played the movie games, and I have to say, of all the movie games, there's pros and cons for all of them. In Spider-Man 1, it's the same idea as that game I just described, where there's no open world, it's just level after level. And he does the same swinging animation. The web doesn't go down when he swings, just when you use like a web ball or whatever.
Okay.
But you can also play as the Green Goblin. And it's not the exact Green Goblin, it's just the suit, but it's actually, I think it's supposed to be Harry in the Goblin outfit. But
are you talking the Tobey Maguire movies like Spider-Man 3?
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man 3,
okay. I got you.
But Spider-Man 1 you play as the Green Goblin, and he has all the tricks that the Goblin has. He throws pumpkin bombs. He rides a glider instead of web swing, obviously. And he also has on his glider, he has like a machine gun type attack. And
that's cool.
But it's Harry. It's not Norman that you're playing as. It's Harry that's trying to. It's the way they do it with the story. It's kind of dialed a little less stretched compared to Spider-Man, where there's only like a handful of cutscenes, and I think Harry is trying to figure out his dad's secrets or something, and then he comes across another Green Goblin that is essentially the same Green Goblin you have to fight when you're Spider-Man, like in the same levels. But he's also got a different voice. He's not Norman, because Norman is obviously dead. But
spoiler alert.
Yeah, this isn't 2023. This is 2001 now. So keep your ears open. But yeah, and then Spider-Man 2 I like because it was the first time I'd actually played Spider-Man in an open world, and the web swinging was really cool because you could do pretty much everything like in the movies. You could do like when he shoots a web in the Maguire movies and he kind of does a swirl like around a pole or something. kind of
Yeah.
does a loop-de-loop right around, and then he goes flying into the air after that. You can do that. You can shoot 2 webs and sort of slingshot your way through the city. And
Wow.
it was really cool. The only bummer about that is I was expecting you to be able to, sort of like in Spider-Man 1 where you could play as the Goblin. I was hoping you could play as Doc Ock, but of course you can't.
That would have been cool.
You can only fight him in the story, and then there's a warehouse arcade mode where you can fight him just wandering around the warehouse as kind of like a boss arcade thing where you have 4 bosses you have to fight at once.
Jeez, It sounds like a very advanced game for being pretty old.
But and then there's Ultimate Spider-Man I played, and you could play as Venom in that one. It's very cartoony looking. It's not live action based at all.
Okay.
So it kind of looks like a 3-dimensional image that was sort of Pascaled over all the time.
All right, I got you.
And but Venom,
at least it's unique.
Yeah, but Venom you can play as, and he's pretty cool. The downside being though that his health goes down over time, so you constantly have to feed off people.
Oh.
And it's a real pain when you're trying to find somebody and you're also getting shot at and all that by enemies, and you're just like, where's the darn health already?
Yeah.
Where's
No, trust me.
Where's my meal?
You mentioned that. I'm playing Elden Ring right now, and oh boy, I wish there was health right now. So yeah, I know the feeling, especially in like a superhero game.
Yeah. So, and then Spider-Man 3, and what's cool about that is it's like Spider-Man 2 with the open world, but you get the black suit, obviously, because it's Spider-Man 3. And you also can play as Harry Osborn's New Goblin. You can't get off the glider, so he's always flying on the glider. But and his combat is very limited compared to Spider-Man, where he actually has like unique combos and stuff. Harry is kind of like, he has combos, but they're all pretty much the same animations every time. But he's pretty cool to be able to fly around the city, on his glider. Slash snowboard or whatever it's called.
Whatever was going on there.
So. Yeah, and then
now, which is your favorite if you had to pick?
Because
I mean, the way you're describing them, they genuinely sound cool. Like I haven't played them, but
cool.
I want to play them now.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can get past the obvious graphics level at the time,
right?
Because obviously they don't look anything like they would now.
No. But, I mean, that comes with the territory.
Yeah. I mean,
you got to expect that.
It's just like Raiders of the Lost Ark compared to Dial of Destiny. Obviously the tech is advanced more, so things can seem even more seamless in CG and stuff.
Yeah, more real. Speaking, I know we'll probably talk about this, but did you end up seeing that Dial of Destiny?
Yeah, Wednesday. That's why.
Okay, cool.
That's why I wanted to podcast today while it was still fresh in my mind. But we'll do it at the end.
That's awesome.
When,
all right.
When people can have a chance to get away from spoilers, because if we do it in the middle, they won't know when the spoiler thing ends, and they can continue listening safely.
Right. Well, how about this? Let's do one in the middle, and I want to hear your review without spoilers, just your overall thoughts, how well it was made, that kind of thing. And then we can do spoilers like you said toward the end. I think that'll be cool. Yeah,
we can do that, I suppose. But one last Spider-Man thing before we do that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Then, yeah, like I said, the last game I played was Spider-Man Friend or Foe, and it basically takes all the movie designs of the 3 Spider-Mans, like the Maguire series, and it kind of creates it almost looks like a cartoon, but like imagine a PS1 game's graphics on an Xbox or PS2's generation. at the time, or when 360 was just coming out too. And
oh yeah, right on the cusp of that then.
so yeah, just kind of imagine PS1 graphics during a Xbox 360 kind of level, like generation.
I don't want to.
It kind of looks like that, but it's a pretty fun game. I mean, it's very simple because it's like a Lego game in the past where the only attack button is X for Xbox. Okay. And it's, I think, the circle for, or square for PlayStation. But yeah, it's got, all the movie villains in it. Venom, well, not Carnage unless you have a PlayStation Portable.
Oh, they always get you.
Yeah. Well,
they always find a way.
The PSP version has both Carnage and Electro, but it's got Venom, Sandman, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, New Goblin, and then there's some others that are strictly from cartoons like Rhino and Scorpion, and
oh, that's cool.
Lizard, and it's kind of weird though because the black suit Spider-Man and Venom, when you're in a dark area, it looks more blue than black. It looks literally like a scuba suit color.
Yeah. As
opposed to the symbiote black that you'd, even for a game of that level of graphics, it's,
Yeah, you would think it would look a little more,
It only looks black when you're doing the Egyptian levels in the outside when it's nice and sunny and sandy. That's when it looks more black, but otherwise...
That's strange.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old game.
Yeah. It's an old game. It's a simple game. Only 12 achievements.
Wow. That's like SpongeBob game achievements.
Yeah. And they're really just like completing levels, getting all the upgrades for characters in Spider-Man. And that's about it. Like, there's nothing beating a level in co-op or anything. There's no Xbox Live to it. So it's like a Lego game. It's just 2-player couch co-op. There's an arena you can fight each other in, but of course the characters are very limited to what they can do because it's just it's a very limited game, but it has its moments of fun.
Okay.
Until you get bored of it, but
yeah.
Anyway, so
all those games you described though, I mean, I've only played Amazing Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man PS4. I don't know if the Lego games count, but all those games you're describing, it sound pretty flippin' fun.
Yeah, they were, and my original Xbox still runs, so maybe someday I'll play Spider-Man 1 again just for the heck of it, because the goons are kind of fun to fight, because during the part where you're searching for Uncle Ben's killer, there's all these guys called the Skulls Gang, and you have to fight a bunch of them before you finally get to Dennis Carradine, or as he's called in the game, Carjacker.
That's his legal first name.
Yeah.
Carjacker McGee.
And yeah, they're kind of funny. Like some of them say, "Circus in town? Hey, you!" They have this kind of gang affiliation sort of accent to them.
Yeah, like Arkham.
Yeah, and just
like every Arkham thug is like, "It's the Bat." Yeah. They all sound like from their New York.
Just be careful not to get caught by the guys with the guns because they're a pain. But otherwise, they're. And then when they get knocked out, they go, "Ah!" Like a clone trooper's voice that's a little lower pitched.
Okay.
When he dies,
That's funny.
But anyway,
my goodness.
On to Dial Destiny non-spoiler review.
Yes, yeah. So what did you think about it? Where does it rank? What's your favorite, least favorite, that kind of thing?
Well, I don't want to bash it too hard, but there were some things that I kind of was disappointed in.
Okay.
One thing I will spoil because it's not a big deal. they break the tradition of the Paramount logo.
Yes, yeah, that is disappointing. I'll agree with you on that.
I was expecting something, and then it just goes to a black screen, and then, what happens next happens, and it's like, what the heck is your problem, James Mangold? Were you really trying to get it that different from the others, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I honestly, for me, I was
it's the
very
last
disappointed
one that he has to do that on.
I know.
Couldn't have done that with Raiders first, and then thought it would be cool if we tried this instead for the next 4.
If only. But as soon as that scene ended, all my worries left. I mean, I genuinely enjoyed it. I think if you've seen my review, for everyone listening, my only negatives were the CGI. I think there's a few instances where young Indy looks a little wonky, his lips don't move, and then there's 2 scenes with old Indy where he's falling down a bookcase, and then what else? When he's on the horse for one scene during that parade. But other than that, I really didn't have that many issues.
Yeah, well, I felt there were 2. Well, my dad felt this too because I took my parents to see it with me, and my dad felt there were too many chase scenes in it, and especially the first one on that. I don't know what you would call that thing, as kind of a cross between a taxi and a motorcycle.
It's a tuk-tuk in Morocco, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That scene kind of felt a little long because it's not like the one in Crystal Skull where Indy actually gets pulled into a car at one point and then has to punch a couple of thugs and then get back onto the Mutt's motorcycle. It's
I love that.
It's like there's barely really any action. It's more just chase the whole time. Throughout that one sequence, and I mean, yeah, there's Indy's switching between cars and stuff, but you'd expect him to at least hit one thug off of a vehicle or something,
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point.
But
I mean, I think the sequence is fun, but there's a lot of chasing and whatever. But
and
if that's your only complaint, I mean,
well, there's a few, but some of them are gonna have to wait for the spoilers because I would have to get specific about them.
That's true.
But another one I actually did notice too was they seem to deviate from the traditional Indiana Jones sound effects, because I didn't hear the traditional punching sounds like in the other 4. It sounded more like a Marvel film's punching instead of Indiana Jones punching.
I think there was a few of them, right? I noticed 1 or 2 of the classic.
Oh. Well,
maybe not every one.
Maybe they just dialed down the volume of it or something, like in the movie, not the theater.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it was okay. I mean, it's. I'm still gonna get it on Blu-ray when it comes out because I mean, I made sure to watch the first 4 before I saw it. So I watched.
Me too.
I watched Temple of Doom on Sunday because I'm going in chronological, not release. So Temple of Doom, then Raiders and Last Crusade on Monday, and then Tuesday Crystal Skull, and then finally Dial of Destiny Wednesday. And I can't really say.
That's awesome.
I think Temple of Doom is my favorite. I mean, I don't care if people call it racist or whatever. I just like it because it's not anything to do with any of the wars. It's a completely unique enemy that he fights. It's not any sort of warring faction of any kind. It's a cult, not a faction. It's a cult that he fights.
Yeah.
And despite what people think, I think that when I was watching Temple of Doom, I was actually laughing a few times at Willie when she was screaming. Like,
yeah,
the part.
No, she's funny.
The part when that guy gets his heart ripped out. I wasn't laughing at that, but the second after, when it cuts to the 3 characters and you see Willie go behind the corner and scream, I was like,
yeah, she's like, oh heck no.
It's like, are you nuts? can't. Are you nuts? You're right above a whole congregation, Willie. You idiot! You don't go
I know, yeah.
screaming just because of something terrifying, unless you want to get caught.
I'd probably scream like a little girl too, though. Honestly, if I saw that, but
yeah, but so yeah, Temple of Doom would be my favorite.
Okay.
And I like Crystal Skull a lot, but it would probably have to be my fourth because I like Last Crusade probably second because I like the music in that one for one thing, and also some of the drama between Indy and his father, and then at the end, when his that touching scene when his father saves him from falling and he calls him by his legal name. I'm not going to say real name because he hates his
after the
real
dog
name. But I think it's just it may not be have the same amount of action as the other two, but it kind of makes up for it with the kind of character chemistry and stuff. And not to mention, it does have a tank sequence, so that sort of makes up for it, I guess.
You gotta love the tank, yeah.
But Dial of Destiny, I'm not gonna say 5th place, but kind of 4.5 place.
Okay.
Just because it feels the less action oriented than all 5 of them.
Right. It makes sense.
Said,
it's only 80,
it's more chase than action, it seems, a lot of the time.
Right.
Most of the action seems to be at the very beginning, but everything else seems to just be this big chase, and they chase for a bit, then they get captured or whatever, then they chase again, kind of thing. It's like, why can't they? And Indy didn't have a one-on-one fight like he usually does.
No, yeah, that's true.
I was kind of waiting to see which of the thugs he would end up having that kind of fight with finally, but it never happens. It seems one guy meets his demise in a very wet way, and the other in a very fiery way.
Yes, good way to put it without spoiling it.
And and neither of them are directly from Indiana Jones. It's a different character that does that, to them. So,
but I don't know. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
I think it's probably my second favorite.
Yeah, I'm not against it. It just, I just think James Mangold should have done more with it than he did, and it's not because of timing or something. It's because of just decisions he made for some reason, Also, not entirely.
Yeah, there are a few.
I'm also kind of conflicted.
There's a few wonky things
about the dial, because usually it's an actual artifact, where this thing is more of a mechanism thing that everybody's after. It kind of seemed weird that the thing of the MacGuffin of the movie is a device instead of an artifact.
It's funny you mentioned that, because the Dial of Destiny isn't, I don't want to say it's real, but it's actually based on like a real dial that someone made. It's a real object. A lot of people were like, oh, it's just some made up crap that this, but no, like if you look it up online, like there's a thing like that. Now, here's my question. Is there a crystal skull? Because I guess the FBI confirmed aliens are real, but in terms of is that a real thing?
If you watch the special features of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, usually there's one featurette that talks about making the Crystal Skull in the movie, but at the beginning, Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford actually mentioned they've seen some in museums and stuff. And then they say the biggest mystery is how they were made, and that's
that's cool.
So I'm assuming,
because I hate when people,
if they're
we're assuming. I'm taking,
if they're in museums, then they must be real in some way, unless some glass blower just got bored one day and's like, I'll make a crystal skull out of glass and then paint it to make it look like crystal or whatever.
Yeah, and then Steven Spielberg went to the museum and was like, "Hey, make a movie on that." Actually,
Yeah, but
why not?
I think it's cool because it gives a new sort of item to the genre, to the franchise, and
I think the hate is way overblown. I mean, one of the things, we'll talk about this quickly. I think one of the things I hate about the franchise isn't something that's in it. It's the idiots on the internet who think they know what's up. Just like Star Wars. You get these people, they're like, oh, Dial of Destiny, without spoiling it. They're like, especially Crystal Skull, but they're like, Dial of Destiny is too crazy. That's not real. It wouldn't happen. It's like, dude, the first movie had, now, regardless if you're Catholic, Christian, whatever, the first movie had the Ark of the Covenant where a ghost came off and melted your face. The second had stones. The third had the invincible juice. The fourth had aliens, and this one's got time fissures, as they say in the trailer. So I genuinely, I never understood where people are like, oh, Indiana Jones in the fridge in Crystal Skull, that's too far. Or Mutt swinging on a vine. No, it's not. Like they've never.
Or people
that's
eating
the point.
People eating bugs and brains in the Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
like
Indiana Jones has always been
people call
crazy.
It racist, and yet it's just a movie. The makers weren't trying to provoke anybody. They were just trying to make a movie that is actually
it was a joke.
Quite interesting if you just put your head on straight first, and then watch it through the lens of an audience and not just some racist seeker. Yeah,
right. It's like some of these people, they have their mindset made before they even see the movie.
Yeah, but I knew Phoebe Waller-Bridge was going to be a big part of this one, and so I wasn't expecting, her to be, I wasn't not expecting her to be such a big part of it when I saw it. I mean, she's
a pretty important sidekick.
Yeah, she's also kind of, dare I say, slightly misguided at first.
Yes, very much so.
Not going to be specific until the end, as we keep saying over and over. But she kind of smiles when somebody dies. Not smiling at them, but smiling that it was a fun event they just went through.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's like, but somebody died. Don't you understand that already?
Yeah.
Are you still
12
years old that you don't understand what death does to the people who care about them?
Yeah, you idiot. But it's funny you mentioned that because one of the things I was worried about going into this movie is that, oh my god, it's going to be a woke disaster. Oh, it's, everyone said, okay, good. You shouldn't have, because it wasn't.
This is one thing.
It's not woke for everyone.
I wasn't expecting it to be woke. I was just, I don't know what I was really expecting. I was expecting it to be good, and I wasn't expecting it to have so many chases in it. I was hoping it would be kind of a combination of Crystal Skull with Indy's age problem, or solution, if you want to call it.
It's a problem.
Indy's age mixed with Last Crusade's sort of amount of action, but it seems like they took the chases from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and amplified that more and lessened the action to be mostly just kind of in the beginning portion of the whole thing.
Yeah, and I think that's really also due to Harrison's age. I mean, he's 80-something, and if you guys go on YouTube and you watch like the behind the scenes stuff, you'd be surprised, man. I mean, he's doing a lot of that shit. I mean, he's not like in front of a friggin' train, but he's really on a horse, or he's really punching a guy, or he's really whipping. They kind of hide it a little bit by him like jumping from tuk-tuk to tuk-tuk with, CGI or whatever, motion blur, but it looks real, and he's doing a lot of it, which is really commendable. But I think, honestly, the reason why there's not a whole lot of action is just mainly because he's so old, but I think they did a pretty good job. I mean, what do you do? Like, what do you do when you make another indie movie and he's almost 90? You gotta take some measures.
Well, Yoda was how old when he fought Dooku in Episode 2?
That is true.
So, take a cue before you know.
Is Indy Force sensitive though?
Well,
people go, "Oh, Indiana Jones was a carbonite dream from Han in Episode 5."
Keep in mind, Indiana Jones happened a long time ago too.
That's true in this galaxy,
so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a good point. I'll give you that.
People had to make him first, later than the days in the actual movie, but it still takes place a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Even 1969 takes place a long time ago from now. So
that's true.
As
now I'm going to place
a
a bomb. You ready to hear this bomb?
Sure.
I was talking to Echo Killshot, and I was watching Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
A little bit before I saw Dial, and he was like, "Oh yeah, enjoy Temple of Doom." I said, "Yeah, it's a pretty good sequel," and he's like, "No, it's not a sequel." And I said, "What?" Yeah, it's a sequel. What are you, stupid? He said, "No, Temple of Doom chronologically, in the timeline, it's actually a prequel, which I didn't know about. It takes place a year before Raiders."
Yeah, I kind of when I learned that a long time ago, I was kind of confused, but now I kind of watch it that order, and it sort of makes sense. I mean, you watch Raiders and Last Crusade back to back, and it's just Nazis, and it's kind of, I mean, there's a 2-year difference between the films, like in the films, not literally, but
right.
But it's kind of, it kind of makes more sense now. Kind of makes more sense now watching it in that order.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm still always going to watch Raiders first, but I mean, I never knew that, and he was like, "Yeah, it's a prequel." I'm like,
yeah,
that kind of blew my mind a bit.
But but Temple of Doom is still my favorite, just because of how how different it is from the others, where it's, like I say, it's not anything to do with World War II. It's completely elsewhere in the world. And the enemy, he fights, shoot me if you don't like it, but the enemy he fights is a cult, and it's, we never really see him fight people like that ever afterwards. It's always always Nazis or in a one-time thing with Russians. It's not just,
that's right.
It's not just something to. Add,
are you still a Nazi?
Not just something to add more fiction to the franchise instead of pulling historical things. Like, it still is based in history. Like, there is, I think, a thing. I think Kali is a thing, if I'm not mistaken. But
now, are the stones a thing, or
I don't know. They must,
because every other thing is a real thing.
They must be in some way. I mean, they obviously turn it to fit the story, but it's got to be based on something real. Like, maybe they just changed the name of it, and there's actual stones that have a different name out there that are based in myth and legend or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, someone in the comments tell me if this is real, because your boy here wants to know.
Yeah, but anyway, so my next topic was Dead Island 2. Now, when was the last time you played?
Oh boy.
When you
put me on a spot here. No. Probably 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why did they update it?
Well, they did, but I'm just, because I've been playing it lately again. I just kind of wanted to start playing it again, and I keep, I've been playing Dying Light as well, and it's been kind of tricky trying to go back and forth between the two zombie games and then try to readjust to the controls again for each one. Cause
I know.
Jump for Dying Light is throw a curveball in Dead Island 2, and I keep pressing the jump button in Dead Island 2 and keep throwing a darn grenade in my face.
You're telling me. I hate that.
And then in Dying Light, I'm trying to jump like in Dead Island 2, but I'm doing the survivor sense. I'm like, no, you're supposed to jump over the zombie, not survivor sense him. does nothing, you know.
Crazy game. What are you doing?
And then I also, because the weapon changing button is the Y button, I press and hold that to try to bring up the wheel, and instead I waste a repair on a weapon trying to see how much.
That's the worst.
Trying to see how much more damage it needs before I have to fully repair it, and you know, it's kind of like, I just wasted a repair. Just, you know. It's just,
yeah, you're telling me. I hate when that happens. Like, when I'll play Call of Duty for a week, and then I'll go do something else. Or, I'm sorry, I'll play a Lego game for a week, and then I'll play COD, and I suck at it. And I'm like, man, what am I doing? You know, it's kind of like that. But
well, COD and Lego isn't quite a comparison to the just zombie games, because Dead Island and Dying Light are very much similar, but very different, because you feel like you're playing the same game, but the controls have been swapped around on you.
Yeah, it feels like someone messed with the settings when you were sleeping.
Lego and Call of Duty, you're playing a different game. It doesn't feel like the same game.
Yeah,
you still have to adjust to the controls, especially if one you haven't played in a while, and the other is what you've been playing nonstop for a month. But
yeah, I know. But, thankfully, most video games controls are pretty similar now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but back in the day, I mean, when I talked to my uncle, he's like, "Oh my god, all this new stuff, it's too nuts."
Yeah. But yeah, I was playing Dead Island yesterday, and I was or was it yesterday or the day before, and I was playing in the what's it called, the movie area, Monarch Studios. And I was playing at night, because I usually play it during the day because my TV screen for some reason is darker than it should be.
Okay.
And so I have to play in a lighting setting that I can see it better. But I was trying to play it at nighttime, and then I go into that, you know, it kind of feels like a native kind of catacomb sort of area. And
yes. Yep. Okay, I remember. Yep.
Yeah, and there's these guys that some of them have like blue paint on them or whatever, and that's where butchers like to spawn a lot.
Oh god, I get PTSD of the butchers.
Yeah, and I was fighting them, trying to fight them, and my weapons, you know, weren't the best equipped to handle them, and I ended up having to use all my all 5 of my little med kits up.
Oh.
And fortunately my rage regenerated in time that I could trigger it and kill them, but that's something I miss in Dying Light, though, is now that I've been playing Dead Island 2, is the rage, especially when you get swarmed by a bunch of guys, and you just, where's my rage? You know,
it's very helpful.
You know, like, just let me turn
it makes me rage when I can't use it.
I know, you know, like, I've been getting swarmed like crazy by virals almost everywhere I go. When I, you know, like, sometimes I purposely try to get them to spawn just so I can, you know, talk smack to them and kill them. But
yeah, how do you like it?
You know, but when they just are constantly spawning, and especially when you're trying to do something like lockpick, or you're trying to aim a gun at a zombie that's just below you, and all of a sudden you get hit from the side by this viral that suddenly is there, and you know, and it's just annoying as heck. You and then suddenly on your radar you see, you know, like 6 more red arrows coming towards you. You just want to.
That's when you run like heck.
You want to get raged on, you know, and then just give them a taste of their own bloody, literally, medicine.
Ooh, I like it. I like that we're doing puns. I like it. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because as I told you, I'm working on Elden Ring again, not only for YouTube but just for fun. And it's a hard video game. Like, that's an understatement.
Yeah.
It's a friggin' masterpiece, but it's difficult.
You told me not to play it.
It took me. I told you not to play it?
Yeah, in a couple of podcasts ago, you said my advice is to not play it or something, because it's so darn hard.
Okay, well, my advice is to play it because
Okay.
one specific reason I changed my mind. Basically, what's funny is that I've run 190 hours in my first playthrough since I've got
Yeah.
it. I'm not, it's not like in a week. But in the scope of that, I was like, there's something that happens in the game that I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I'm actually right now doing New Game Plus or Journey number 2, and it's cool because it keeps your level.
Yeah.
So what level am I? I'm level 190,
just like
and
in
it's cool because
Dead Island
the bosses
1.
that killed me, right? The bosses that killed me in Elden Ring, my first playthrough, I can get them now in like 5 or 6 hits.
Yeah.
I'm not dying 800 times in a row. So that's cool.
If you're listening, Echo, make sure to beat the game now so you can go back and play it and it can be easier.
I know, you're not kidding. Like, dude, I literally, at the time of recording this, I don't have my Elden Ring video up, but I just recorded a few days ago me killing Margit. The boss Echo couldn't do it. And Echo, I'm not saying you're bad, you're not. But watch my video for anyone struggling, because I got him in less than 20 minutes, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It is difficult, and it makes me rage. I swear to God, I will be raging during my walkthrough. But it's fun. When you do it and you win, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, it's when you win, not until
Yeah.
then, get your rage quit bottle out and put a piece of paper in every time you rage quit.
Yes. You got it. You got it.
You got 50 jars on the table by the time you finally beat it, and each one contains however many fit in them.
Yeah. I'll be rich by the time I do that, but
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the one he couldn't beat, you said, cuz you said there's 2 bosses kind of back to back the first time.
yes. Yeah.
And there's no checkpoint between them. So
Well, the thing with Elden Ring is that so
you
take
die,
Margit, right?
yeah.
He's stuck on. Well, yeah, so like there's they're called grace sites, and you go by a grace site and then you walk like, I don't know, 5 or 6 feet, and then you you fight the boss.
Yeah.
When you die, you go right back to the grace, which is like a few feet away, But no, like there are some bosses in this game where to put it mildly, it'll take you 20 minutes to kill the first boss or the first phase. And then there's the second phase. But your progress doesn't save. So if you die during the second phase, you have to do it all from the beginning.
Yeah, that can be a
It took me literally, I'm not even kidding.
Forget rage quit, just smash the TV.
Yeah, I was near that point. I'm not gonna lie. The final boss,
and then smash it again just for good measure.
Yeah, right, exactly. The final boss of the game though took me probably about a week to kill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And thank God, because Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga was coming out the day I killed the boss, so I was like, going from Elden Ring to Lego Star Wars was like a dream come true.
Yeah. Take a break and do something easier.
Exactly.
Well, I can't say there's anything easier. I mean, there's things in Dead Island 2 that aren't in Dying Light that I like, and then there's vice versa. And I always get frustrated when I can't do what I can in the other one, and like I can't rage in Dying Light, and I can't counter attack or block like in Dead Island 2, and I also can't find. There's no workbenches in Dying Light like there is in Dead Island 2, and you have limited.
The workbenches are handy.
Yeah, and. But the enemies in Dead Island 2 are harder to kill than in Dying
Whatever it's
Light,
called.
Because in Dying Light, I can kill most zombies with one hit, as long as they're not those dodgy little annoying virals. And
you're telling me.
I could just one hit kill them for the most part, almost all the time, with my melee weapons, and it's just one shot to the head with a gun of some sort. Even on the goons.
See, that's one thing That's one thing I don't like about Dying Light 2 is that, as at least as of right now, there's no guns.
Yeah.
Which it is what it is. But I mean, after playing, especially Dead Island 2 has some pretty good gunplay, I think. I know a lot of people online don't like the gunplay in Dead Island 2, but I do.
Well, there's some...
Maybe one day they'll update it. I don't know.
There are problems with it, I admit, because sometimes, like, when you're aiming ADSing with a shotgun, you're not looking... It's not like a Call of Duty perspective. It's more like you're looking just above the iron sight, looking down the barrel kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to aim the tip of the barrel instead of the actual iron sight, and it's kind of annoying because you feel like you've got it locked on, and then you shoot and you realize it's off course a little.
That's why I usually hip fire most of the guns.
Yeah, well, I try to ADS because I like there's that one rifle that looks like a sniper rifle. And I like using that thing, but the problem is after the first shot, the scope starts moving around the screen a lot, and it's hard to get a second shot accurately.
It's those little things. It's weird because you would think they would get that right, because people have been doing FPS games since the dawn of time. I mean, you'd think they would. It just seems like a weird thing they at least haven't fixed
yet. You shoot
yet.
once, and then what? All of a sudden, you lose your balance the rest of the time until you exit ADS, and then you get your balance back.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, actually, your character tripped.
Yeah.
Sorry, all right.
You know, guns have massive blowback, right?
Yeah, it's recoil, stupid.
But yeah, I'm looking forward. I don't know if you got it. But I got some DLC things from that was recently released. It's just costumes and weapons, but some of the weapons look pretty cool. There's one that...
I think I did get that.
Yeah,
what were they?
Did. Well, there was DLC. There were costumes that you should have gotten from pre-order. Well, not pre-order, but the Hell A edition.
Well, I got the Hell A edition.
Yeah, there's a costume for Jacob, and I think it's Amy.
Yes. Okay. Yep. I got them.
Yeah.
Amy got the katana weapons, and then what's her face got, or Jacob got the. They look like shurikens, kind of.
Yeah, they kind of are. They're called the Devil's Horseshoes or something.
Yes, that's it. Yep.
And,
I haven't used. I don't. How do you access them, by the way?
There's that one guy in the Ocean Avenue Hotel.
Okay.
And that you buy stuff from. He's basically the majority of the DLC weapons and stuff that you get in the game. Like,
gotcha.
There's only 2 characters that also have them, but they're not as high level. Like, there's a guy at the beginning that has the Banaway baseball bat and the Banaway War Club, but they're always the green level. So they're only good for so long before you get to the blue and eventually the purple level weapons.
Right.
And then there's another guy on Venice Beach. He's in the I don't know what you call it, the crab restaurant or whatever.
Okay, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got a red. He gives you a red katana called Red's Demise. But I
have that actually.
It's blue level.
That's awesome.
And
the katanas in any game I get, katanas are my go-to, man. They're freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind using it. It's just blue level, and I have a bunch of purple now. And purple's kind of the highest you can get to in Dead Island 2, because there's no orange or gold ones. Except the legendaries, which you only can get through specific events, and it's not in Dead Island 1. They actually have orange and gold, tiered weapons, and
okay,
because in Dead Island 1 you have things like wicked, metal baseball bat, or destructive. crowbar or whatever. And then when you get the gold ones, then it's just crowbar, metal baseball bat. Like, they get rid of that extra part to the name. And then you can add... But, they do the highest amount of damage, obviously, so you always want to try to get the gold ones when you can. So, but I got the... And then, the guy in Ocean Avenue is where you get the majority of everything else.
Okay.
The storage...
I'll have to stop by there.
The storage locker is where you can change the outfit.
Okay.
Cause
I don't get that, because it's first person. How do you see it?
Well, I don't know.
Because the mirrors don't work, right? Like, if you look in a mirror, it's not like you'll see yourself.
Maybe it's for online purposes or something. I don't know.
See, there's always a catch.
But it's the same with Dying Light. Like, why do you have all those costumes?
Yeah.
Although,
I don't know how people can...
I don't mind.
People spend millions of dollars in Call of Duty, and I'm like, bro, you literally can't see it.
Yeah, well, I don't mind Dying Light, actually, because I got the Dragon Ninja costume from getting to Legend 225, and I got it, and the gloves on it you can see, and they actually look pretty cool. They kind of like red fingers with a black hand kind of thing.
Ooh.
And
yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that you can at least see the
and of course, when
gloves,
when you're on the main menu screen, and you're choosing, between, if you don't press continue, you just go to play game, and then you choose between the campaign and then the following. Then it does that brief thing where it shows you kind of the front of your guy, and then the Dragon Ninja has this kind of mask on him, and it just covers like from the nose down, but it looks really cool the way it looks.
Okay.
And that's why I keep using it. I mean, I did for a time. I just kind of changed for the heck of it, but the Dragon Ninja is the one I kind of like the most.
I'll have to try that next time I play it.
But you have to get to Legend 225 to unlock it first.
Oh boy.
It's one. Yeah, there's about, I think, 10 Legend skill costumes, and I think the last one is Rice.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool, actually.
But yeah, so, but I just, but back to Dead Island 2. I got the there's a big. I also got this kind of big. It almost looks like a big Bowie knife, and it's called the Old Man or something.
Okay.
And it kind of acts more like a machete than a knife because of its size, but
well, they tried.
Yeah. But and then there's
there's
a couple of weapons I don't really need because I have weapons similar to them already. Like there's one that's kind of like pink claws, but I've got regular claws and they look just fine with how I have them, so I don't need pink ones.
That's true.
Not that I'm against the color, because I wear a pink T-shirt sometimes to church, so.
Uh-huh.
And, like, usually I associate pink with, food flavors like bubblegum or strawberry. I don't think about it being a gender thing.
Yeah. I think of the Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah. Next time I wear a pink T-shirt, I'll be thinking of the Barbie movie and like, see, this is how
thinking of Margot Robbie.
This is how they dress in that movie. Just keep that in mind, people at church.
Yeah, right. I'm being authentic to the source material.
Just don't worry though. I won't turn plastic and suddenly just have this expression on my face the rest of my life.
Well, that's good.
But.
Dude, that'd be a cool creepypasta, like, online. People could make up, like, I went to see the Barbie movie, and now I'm a doll.
Well, I probably won't see it, but feel free.
I'm not. Yeah.
But
No, I'm not seeing it, but maybe one day, but not today.
So, but yeah, I got Amy's. I forget what they're called. They have names to them, but there's one that's a katana and one that's a wakazaki.
Wakazaki? Huh.
Yeah, it's like a katana, but it's one-handed, and it's smaller.
Okay.
Yeah. But
That's still cool, though.
Yeah, I've modded them already, and I use them, so they better be cool.
And they work?
Otherwise, I'm gonna throw them away.
Yeah.
But so any
that is cool though. I mean, look, I gotta play it again.
Yeah.
One of these days.
Yeah. Well, the DLC is supposed to be like actual like expansion pass stuff. It's supposed to be coming out Q4 of this year.
Wow. Okay, so a little while to wait here.
Yeah. And then the next is supposed to be Q2 of next year.
Jeez.
But,
well, at least they're like supporting it. You know, they're not like letting it die out or something.
Yeah, and
they have a plan.
But yeah, hopefully they have some pretty good stuff. Like it's supposed to be new locations and new variants and weapons, of course. But you know, I hope they're not over the top, overpowered kind of variants, because
I don't think so. I mean, who knows?
The mutators are really a pain in Dead Island 2, as are the butchers. And then there's ones in Dying Light that are overpowered too, like the volatiles. Like it's bad enough they can just get you from like they can climb stuff, but when they can't reach you, they spit acid at you, and it's like, that's not fair, like, I'm far away from you, fair and square. There's no fair reason you should be able to do that to me from way over here.
But alas, they get you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I remember I was playing Dying Light once a few months ago. It was actually before Dead Island 2 came out, and I was playing it, and I was purposely just kind of volatile hunting in the slums.
Mm-hmm.
And one part, I was low on health trying to climb up a building, and a guy spit on me, and I died just as I was going up the building.
Oh, man.
And then yesterday I was playing in the following, and I was trying to get this one costume found, and you have to do a whole bunch of running around the following to get it. And I got a alien gun unlocked too, apparently.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, like it literally looks like an alien gun. Like it's not just. Is
that? And I'm sorry, that's DLC, or is that part of the? Oh, right, yes, the following.
Yeah, it's part of the following. You have to go around find these 15 mysterious stones or whatever they're called, and then there's a safe zone near the dam that you go to the top level, and then there's this spot on the floor that it kind of looks like a lit up skill tree, almost.
Jeez.
And you put you put the stones down on there once you have all 15 of them, and then at nighttime you go to it, and then you have to interact with it, and then this UFO shows up and shines a light inside, and then once you walk into the light, it kind of teleports you like into the middle of a field far away from where you were, and it's at nighttime.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
How did I not know about this?
Well, I didn't know about it either until I started looking for the rest of these costumes. Because I was initially just trying to get, like at the start of the following where you're at that high up area. I was initially just trying to go back to there just for the heck of it, and then I read that somebody was trying to get a costume that was up there, and then I decided I'd go check, and then I decided to look on the Wicca website after I got it, and I'm like, just to see what other costumes might be lurking around the following, and then I came across this one called Stargazer, and that's the one I had to do all this stuff with to get. And Yeah, at first when you get teleported into the middle of a field at night, and then all your stuff is gone except for your UV light, and
Oh,
like you have to find a stash to get it back. It's returned to your stash, but it's a real pain when you're in the middle of nowhere at night and you have volatiles looking all over the place for you.
yeah, I'd say so.
But fortunately, unlike I had to look at a video to find out how to do all this because I I wouldn't know where to start looking for these darn stones if the guy didn't show.
I wouldn't either.
But yeah, I didn't use the gun yet. I just saw him use it, and it looks like it kind of you shoot a zombie and it makes a kind of explosion that if other zombies are nearby, it kind of triggers smaller explosions on them or something.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It looks like kind of a cross between a water gun and the ray gun from Black Ops.
Oh, well, that's cool then. I like that design.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. I'll have to record some gameplay of it for
for the next podcast because I want to see that.
Oh, next podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll have to record for that too then. Because I already got gameplay recorded with some Japanese or Chinese weapons.
Mm.
That was before. Like, I'm kind of one of those people that likes to record well in advance for the next 2 podcasts. So
okay, I got it. So you're filming like a lot of it. I got you.
Yeah. So the stuff I recorded recently is for our next podcast. So, and that was before I even got this alien thing. It's got a really weird name, so I just call it the alien gun. It's got a really
works for me.
Really complicated name.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get the costume anyway, the Stargazer costume. I don't know if you did the David and Goliath Freaks of Nature thing.
If I did, I don't remember.
Yeah, well, there's kind of a big wall at the far south of the following map of the countryside. There's this big kind of wall that you can't go past, and if you go to the far kind of southeast corner of the map itself, there's a small island, and there's freaks of nature called David and Goliath. David is a goon. Goliath is a viral.
Okay.
And yeah, just a little kind of northeast of there, underwater, there's the crashed UFO that picked you up earlier. You go there, and then there's a compartment that opens up, and then you get the blueprints for the gun that you actually start off with it when you teleport onto the field, and then you get the blueprints for the ammo of it, but you only get 5.
I hope everyone's taking notes.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeah, and I'm not, so someone write this down. No, I'm kidding.
Well, that's fine.
Don't do that.
It's your head in the game, not mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of, you get the blueprints for the ammo, and you start off with 5 already for the gun. And I think you can have up to 15 things, because I kept, after I got my stuff back, I tried to make the ammo for it, so I was at max, and I only could make, 10, plus the 5 that's in the clip already. So
Right.
So, but yeah, and then in the UFO, you get the blueprint for the gun itself, even though you already have the gun on you. In case, I guess, if you want to make a second one and you want to give it to somebody who doesn't want to spend all that time. Actually, I could do that with you if you didn't want to waste all the time looking for the thing.
That's true. Yeah, it's actually a good idea.
We could just play in the following or wherever, and I could just make it now that I have the blueprint and give it to you. Although
I like that idea.
Although I don't know if you might still want to do it yourself, because you don't want to constantly go to me for ammo, would you?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I mean, I got so much stuff to do in Elden Ring, but once I get through this, I'll definitely, because I want to get that. I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, but what I'll do is I'll link the video that I watched in the chat here, so you kind of know where the stones are all located, because I didn't know where they were. I had to watch the guys thing, and I didn't even know about this until I was starting to look for these darn costumes.
Well, I didn't know about it until today, so that's actually great.
So, but yeah, there's the one costume I was trying to get. Well, I wasn't even looking for it until I learned about it. Up at the start, it's called I forget what it was called. I think it's like "Don't Say It" or something costume or whatever. But I forget what it's called, but it's basically in the cave where you start off. Like, you start off in the pipe thing, and then you go to a little cave before you get out into the wide open, above the wilderness area. And there's a dead body inside the cave there that you have to examine or inspect. And then when he rolls over, the costume is just lying under the body. And so, but yeah, that's what I did yesterday, and then I decided to go for all the remaining costumes. There's apparently 11 collectible ones, plus the 3 that you earn.
Okay.
Like, as you do the story, like there's the one where you have like that mask on and stuff. And then there's just a bunch of others that it's basically just Kyle wearing a different t-shirt in each of them.
Yeah.
But I just wanted them for the heck of collecting them. I wasn't going to wear them unless one of them looked cool, but they're all just t-shirts with slightly different things on them, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if that's entirely worth it.
But it was worth it with the one to get all of a sudden learn about that stuff. And in the process of getting the stones, I even learned of it where there's also a buggy camo located too, so it's a good thing. Good thing I did it when I did, because I didn't know there was that thing laying around either. Yeah.
The more you know, right? It's cool because like these old games, you think you did everything, and then it's like, nope.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you don't even care if you did everything. You just kind of, and then you suddenly decide, I want to try to do this, and then you learn. And then you suddenly learn about these other things, like, well, while I'm here, I might as well check this out. And then sure enough, you feel like, well, now that I found this, maybe I'll just try to find the others. And then all of a sudden, it sends you on this goose chase that has a whole bunch of rewards.
And then it's midnight, and you're like, oh.
Well, no, it wasn't midnight for me. It was actually, I was trying to avoid combat as much as I could, except when I was doing the stone thing, I was on top of a water tower, and just as I grabbed the stone, a demolisher appeared out of nowhere, threw a rock at me, knocked me off, and I died.
Ah, poop.
And I swore for the first time in a long time at that.
Oh.
I was just like, and then I spawned close to where it was, but of course the demolisher wasn't there after that, so I couldn't get revenge on him.
Sounds like a rough... But you got him, right? In the end, you did beat him?
Yeah, I got the stones, and apparently you can do it at nighttime, and when you do it, the stones glow, so it's easier to spot them, but I don't do nighttime unless I'm volatile hunting, because
I don't want to
be volatile hunted,
Yeah, I don't want to do that either.
But... And not to mention all the walkers that suddenly turn into virals when you go past them. And then you have not just volatiles, but, night walkers, as they're called, coming at you. And then you get basically raped to death by them.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too fun. Not gonna lie. But speaking of something that's fun, oh boy. I do want to talk about Indiana Jones for a little bit. My PC's about to die, so I don't know how long I'm going to last. But roughly, if you guys, if we're pushing on, an hour? I can't even.
Hour 15.
Hour 15, Jesus. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe if you're new. Again, I'm going to have his link down below in the description. We are now talking briefly, because I don't want to die on me here, but Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, I highly suggest you do. But if you haven't, obviously, spoiler alert. So if you guys haven't seen it, make sure to leave. I don't want to ruin it for you. And hey, the movie's making like no money, so please go support it in theaters. But thank you guys. We'll see you in the next video. But quickly, what are your thoughts on Dial of Destiny here? Spoiler wise, at least, specifically the ending.
Well, I kind of spoiled myself early. It wasn't intentional or anything. It just kind of came across this thing about Karen Allen, and that's when I learned that she was in the movie. I didn't read the scene or anything. I was actually trying to avoid any article I saw with the title in it because I didn't want to risk, spoilers.
I did too.
But, not even just the comments, but in the article itself. But I thought the ending was pretty decent. I mean, apparently Karen Allen was hoping her role would have been more bigger, but
right.
And when Spielberg was still apparently directing, before Mangold came on scene, apparently Karen Allen's role was going to be bigger. And then Mangold and some new writers came on and then reduced it to what we saw. And
yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it though. I mean, I think the whole ending is beautiful in my opinion. But I mean, it's really good. I think it's the best way to end Indiana Jones. I think.
I like the scene where Indy talks about Mutt. It's obviously it's sad, but I like it in the sense
I teared up for the first time.
Yeah, I like it in the sense that Helena hears about it, and suddenly this is before that guy gets shot, Antonio Banderas. So she obviously hasn't laughed at that yet, but you can see it in her face, like she's sort of seeing not so much just a guy that she's known all her life that's, kind of getting in her way about things and stuff, but she sees this damaged guy that, he's hurting,
Yeah.
And it's not a joking matter to hear that his son, that Mutt went to fight in Vietnam and was killed. And
yeah, I was very sad when that happened. Because I like Mutt. I think he's a good character.
He wishes he could go back and stop him, and then his marriage would be more intact.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I liked that. I like when that kid handcuffs that big guy underwater.
Oh, Teddy, yeah.
It's kind of, you think you're so tough.
Brutal.
I dare you to fight the water.
Yeah, right.
Handcuffed to a grate underneath at that. But yeah, I thought it was, the ending was kind of interesting too, how Marion does what Indy did in Raiders when he was all banged up in the ship,
Mm-hmm.
And Marion kind of does that to him this time. And
yeah, I like it's not fan service though,
because she's not damaged like he was in that movie, but she's kind of just reminding him, like, we may have lost our son, but we still, it shouldn't stop us from, loving each other, kind of thing.
I think it's really powerful when she asks what hurt, and he says everything that or she says that. I think it's really cool. And then I think that last shot of him grabbing the hat, that's cool because it doesn't mean, oh, there's another one coming. This is the last one. But I like that it signifies that he hasn't, like, him kissing Marion is him owning up to the present. And not wanting to live in the past, and then him grabbing the hat is symbolic of him acknowledging the past. I think it's really cool that at least he didn't die. At least he got to, it was a happy ending.
But it was, And yeah, the opening was kind of interesting because you see that guy that played in Winter Soldier as kind of the general in this film. Baron Strucker from Winter Soldier. Or no, not Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron. Well, he was in the Winter Soldier in the post-credit scene.
Who are you talking? Are you talking about Voller? Because he was
no, not Voller.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Not Voller. The other guy in Age of Ultron, he was Baron Strucker in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
With the twins.
I know who you're talking about. I don't really.
I don't know.
Remember.
His name is Thomas something. But anyway,
okay.
Yeah, it was interesting seeing him, and then seeing Zola not be evil for a change. Although he still goes crazy, I guess, apparently, later down the road in the film. Which we don't see entirely, but we know what happens.
What do you do?
Yeah. But, it was interesting seeing that, and, I liked the part where Sala shows up, and the guys recognizes Indy, and then Sala just knocks him out.
Yeah, oh yeah, I like that, yeah. I thought Sala was in it a lot more than I thought he was going to be, which was cool. I thought he was just like, give him hell, Indiana Jones, and then that's it. But he actually played a pretty important role, I think.
Yeah. And I was kind of hoping he would do even more than he did, but sometimes we can't get what we hope for. I guess we just gotta accept it. But
yeah,
but it was nice to still see him, and I was kind of expecting to see that guy from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull who replaced Marcus Brody.
Oh yeah, he was. I think that guy was in Harry Potter.
Yeah,
he was Professor Slughorn.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping to see him, but we didn't. But what's that one scene? On the boat, underwater, when I guess the I guess the eels are kind of the Mangold's way of putting snakes in the movie.
Yeah, because even Teddy's like, oh, they're like snakes, and he's like, no, they're not. I thought that was funny.
And then he's just kind of, these aren't the electric eels from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, so he's just paralyzed.
They're not gonna turn you blue.
He's just paralyzed from his snake phobia. He's not moving because they're too much like snakes for him to be able to, when he's surrounded by them,
Right.
But
it'll probably fix the gap in his teeth or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I still liked it. I'm not hating on it. It's just some things I feel like they did too much of, other things I kind of wish they did more of, and then other things I wish they just included. But overall, it was a pretty decent film. I just again, my biggest negative, aside from the chases, is just the Paramount thing that they didn't do this time for the last one of all movies. It has to be the last Indiana Jones. They don't.
I don't understand it.
Did Mangold really watch all four of them before he did this one, or did he just skip that part and go straight to the more important parts or something?
Yeah, he went straight to the credits for all four. I was like, yeah, this is cool.
But
I'll make a fifth one.
Yeah, so.
But I'm just glad he didn't die, because that was, I mean, if he did die, I wouldn't be that mad because he's 80, but I mean, it's like,
yeah.
At least give him a good send-off. I don't want him, shot in the head or something off screen, so thankfully.
No. Well, even just dying would have been kind of bad, because, I mean, it's what everybody was expecting. They were expecting him to die, and then Helena takes over as the new...
I know. That's what I was nervous about.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jonesetta. I would have been pissed off though if she grabbed the hat and the whip. Oh man.
Yeah.
See, that would have been. Thankfully, this movie wasn't woke for anyone who's somehow listening to this and hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
I was very worried, but it was just a good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'll definitely be getting it when it comes out, and so yeah, I guess I'll also make sure to watch the bonus features because I'm a sucker for that too.
Yeah, I will too for sure.
Because there'll no doubt be a featurette talking about how it's the last one, and maybe in his interview, one of the interview clips, during the featurette, Harrison will actually get sort of teary-eyed because apparently, he was quite emotional being his last Indiana Jones. So
yeah, that's what I mean. He cried at the Cannes studio or whatever.
Yeah, I don't see him being able to hold back tears even in the interview for the featurette either.
Yeah.
Talking about it because, it's like, unlike Han Solo, who was actually more of a side character because Luke was the main character in the original trilogy and then Rey was the one in that one. And Han was more of a secondary character helping the primary, right. But still, this is Harrison's gem. This is Harrison's jewel of his career. It's just like, it's just like Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia. That was kind of her gem,
right.
Her gem, and who else?
Mark Hamill, Luke. I mean, you can go
Robert
Deadpool,
Downey Jr.
Iron Man.
Yeah, like all those actors that we've seen in these franchises playing these roles, like those roles are their gems, and Han Solo may be also Harrison's gem, but it's more of a ruby, whereas Indiana Jones is a diamond. Sort of thing. So
I'll never understand why he doesn't like Han Solo, but anyway.
Well, it's not that he doesn't like him, but apparently he just wanted his character to have a real purpose in the movie because he apparently felt in Empire Strikes Back that he didn't. There wasn't any responsibility for the character by that point in the trilogy or something. And so, I
mean, he's got a point, but
he
did have a purpose in the sequels, but
yeah, he wanted his character to have more weight to him than and stuff, and so that's why he wasn't wanting Han Solo to die. He just thought he should die. Kind of.
It's
thing.
Like tell him to go read the comic books, then he'll get it.
Yeah. So.
There's so much lore that Harrison doesn't even, know or care about probably, but, if he really wants to, I mean, I'm not saying Han's the deepest character in Star Wars, not even close, but, that would help a little bit, at least, if he actually cared to read that stuff, but.
Yeah. But anyway, I think we should call it quits here. It's almost an hour and a half.
Oof! It was fun, though.
Yeah. We definitely have to continue this, as I've still got 2 topics. One was Guardians Volume 3 to continue talking about.
We can do that one next time for sure. That'll be cool.
And then also Avatar: Way of the Water, or The Way of Water. I think a lot of people called it Way of the Water, but
yeah, or people called The Rise of Skywalker Rise of the Skywalker. I was like, bro, come on.
Phantom of the Menace.
Yeah, right. Force of the Awakens. But anyway, I'll have a link for Recon's channel down in the description down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you guys made it all the way,
and I'll be doing the same with Franchise. I'll have his page in my link or in description, not my link. But anyway, continue. Yeah,
that's it. In fact, my internet went out, so I really do have to go.
Yeah,
Discord's gonna poop off. But hope you guys enjoyed. Again, dude, I had a lot of fun, and then we'll do another one shortly. And next time we'll talk about Guardians 3 and some other good stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. So
all right, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
Later, folks.